Hey everyone, Cali Gold here again. My brain has been going crazy the last few days, so I just need to get this off my chest. This is like the third video already I'm making on this. I know it probably seems like I'm beating a dead horse, but these thoughts keep coming into my mind. I just want to cover a couple of things today regarding this Neverwinter Classic thing. I want to read what they wrote, so there's going to be a cautionary tale here as a part of today's video. The other part is a hopeful part. So I'm going to cover a couple things today, and I hope this is of interest to you, because some of you that have played this game back in 2013 like I did, if you've seen this potential news about Neverwinter Classic, I can imagine what you're going through. All these thoughts, these memories, these thoughts about what you did back then. And is it really possible this is going to be happening? Let's read this and then do a little bit of analysis. So here's a little text about what they wrote, which is very concerning to me. We're exploring the idea of a Neverwinter Classic, a return to the game's original design and feel. This would be a separate product for Neverwinter. This is a high-level idea that the development team is exploring. So, there's going to be a time component to that. We can already see that they're just talking about it. So they're getting feedback from us on the survey that they did. So good. Keep doing, anyone can do it. Keep going to that monkey survey thing. I'll put the link again. Just keep going and fill out the survey. Whatever it is you want, I assume everyone wants Neverwinter Classic to come back. So, but the thing that I'm concerned about is when it says a return to the original design and feel. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by feel? There's no feel involved. Either you're going to give us the original game or you're not. I don't need a feeling of the original game. I want the original game with a few caveats, okay? Which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But I don't want a feel. I don't want you to take the existing game and make a bunch of changes to it and say, oh, we're going to give you feats and this kind of thing, and we're going to make it feel like the classic. You won't be able to do it. You have to take the code base from the original game. If you're going to do classic, you have to do classic. We need everything back the way it was for the most part. You cannot give a feeling of the original game. It will be a Magic Legends type disaster if you do that. We will all see it and we will bail on you. Here's what I have to say after that kind of statement. What it should be, or I don't consider it to be classic, and this is just my opinion. And there's probably a million things you could add to this list, and by all means, go ahead and do it. But this is 10 minutes of thinking for me. I've been thinking a lot. This is 10 minutes of work to write this down. This is what I have so far. Base game, almost all intact. Dungeons, skirmishes, dungeon delves, all as is. Castle never. No changes to the length of dungeons. They were pretty long, guys. You remember, and there were some side zones in some of these dungeons. When you did a dungeon run, you set aside time for it. Now, if I remember correctly, they didn't really have a queue system back then. It's been so long, I think you had to stand by the door. I don't remember. But adding a queue system maybe is not a bad idea. And there's something I forgot to put in here. Absolutely no random queue ever. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. By them putting in the random queue, and I know why they did it. It was an answer to, I believe, people like FN Husa running ETOS all night, because that's just the kind of guy he is. When he wants to do something, he's going to do it. He ran ETOS all night. Why? What's the problem? What is the problem with that? So you can run the same dungeon, but you don't get the same rewards. They put more rewards behind a random queue. Why would a company do that? And I know ESO did the same thing. You want players to experience all the dungeons, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you're going to decide how I'm going to play my video game. Is that it? You're going to decide. So now you're pushing me into random queues because I get more AD or whatever it is. I hate it. Let people do what they want. No random queues ever. I don't ever want to see it again. They're going to have to fix the bugs and exploits. So this is going to take some time. I got to fix all the bugs and the exploits with the original game. And there were plenty. Class balance, weapon set balance. That's another thing going to have to be worked on. Guys, can you see, if you really want to come out with Classic, you're going to have to build up a staff of people to do this. You can't just slap it together. Class balance, weapon set balance. If I remember correctly, in the original game, guys, there was no VIP. There was no battle pass. And I'm saying here, no explicit pay to win. I remember originally when the game came out, mostly what we were spending money on was storage bags. We purchased storage bags from them. This whole conversation about pay to win, we could take 4 hours talking about this. In a game like this where you can buy Zen and convert it to AD, then you can use AD to buy stuff. I mean, that's like, if that's what you choose to do, that's what you can do in this game. But you can also like spend thousands of dollars and buy keys and open lock boxes. And they got to the point where all this great gear was showing up in the lock boxes, including PvP gear, which made Stronghold Siege irrelevant. This whole discussion about pay to win, we need to be careful about that. They have a right to make a profit, of course, and it's a free to play game, but I would hope that we try to bring the focus in on cosmetics, storage bags, and reduce any type of pay to win as much as possible, as much as feasibly possible. HR and Pally. HR came in mod 2, Pally came in mod 6. What are we going to do about that? We're going to wait on it? I think you might have to. Maybe wait till mod 2, just like Classic. Do you want Classic or do you not want Classic? That is the question. Professions, keep original, of course. Even though the workshop, I think, was a pretty cool thing. I liked it. I liked Lady Be Gum, the whole thing. I pleaded with them to continue to implement trade with the game because it was a great idea with Lady Be Gum. Of course, no, they didn't listen, and they just do one thing that's good, and then the good thing that's good, they don't do it again. But the bad thing that they do, like heroic encounters, they do over and over and over and over again. But anyway, keep Professions as the original. If you're going to go Classic, keep it Classic. Auction house, mail, if I remember correctly, you had to travel. You had to travel to the auction house. You had to travel to a mailbox, if I remember correctly. Protector's Enclave was packed with people. It was busy. It was exciting. It was the place to be. It was the place to be. And again, here you can see Town Crier, ambient sounds of PE. When the game came out, they had a Town Crier. They had ambient sounds, people talking. And a few people complained, I don't want to hear all the people talking in Protector's Enclave. They removed it. Keep it all. Keep it all, and then we'll talk about it later and see if it's a problem or not. That's what I have, just off the cuff, back of the envelope type of, top dog, big cheese, just, that's what I originally have here. I'm sure there's a lot more. Then after that, we get the game, right? And we go through iterations of them. They got a big fix bugs and exploits, and they should just come out and say, look, if it's really bad, we're going to have to do a wipe. If it's really bad, they're just going to have to give a caveat. Another thing to do is go into beta, like a long beta, and not like Magic Legends. Go into a long beta and just say, look, at the end of each beta, we're going to wipe. We're going to wipe over and over again because we may need to in order to fix the economy. If the economy dies, if the economy is broken, the game is broken. So they're going to have to go beta, early access, and they've got to figure out how do we do this and make money at the same time. So the way to do it is the way they originally did Neverwinter, if I remember correctly. Sell Founders Packs. Don't allow anyone to buy anything in the beta, but sell Founders Packs. So when the game launches, you have the spider mount, you have, G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip, you got all this stuff, right? Sell Founders Packs. Don't do what you did in Magic Legends. They purposely released Magic Legends early, calling it a beta or whatever, and they allowed you to buy stuff. From day one, the economy was exploited, and fix it. Because they couldn't do a wipe, because people bought stuff. So just sell Founders Packs, go into beta, and go from there. Mod 5. So what I say is, release the base game, go through your iterations, and then slowly release mods up to Mod 5. And I've got a note here on Mod 5, Rise of Tiamat. Keep it to the original amount of players, whatever that was. 20, 25? Was it 25? So here are the mods, just in case you wanted to know. So the first one, Fury of the Feywild, then Shadow Mantle. So Fury of the Feywild is, Gnarlwood Caves, right? All that, which was great. It was great. Then Shadow Mantle, guys, it's been so long. Some of the stuff I just don't remember. Shadow Mantle was Dreadring, was it? I could just click here and find out, but I'm going to try to guess on my own. So Fury of the Feywild is Gnarlwood Caves and all that. So many great side instances. Shadow Mantle, I think, is Dreadring with Valindra. Am I right? I got to click and find out. Hunter Ranger, Dreadring. Yes. Okay, so Dreadring, Fury of the Feywild. Let's be official on this. Sharandar. That's what it's called. God, did they ruin Sharanar? The rework. Okay, then Icewind Dale, and that's a lot of PvP stuff. I think it was great that they did it. I think that's where they introduced heroic encounters. Yikes! And but if we're gonna stay classic, let's stay classic. So Mod 3, then two what I consider great modules: Tyranny of Dragons and Rise of Tiamat. And I think this one bringing the zone, Scourge Warlock, Soulbinder, Scarlet Paragon, Jewel Crafting, Artifacts, Well of Dragon zones. So Artifacts came in, and that's where you can use refinement points to improve your weapon and stuff. I thought it was great. I was farming refinement points all day long when I had nothing else to do. I'm okay with it. If we're going to go classic, let's go classic. So TOD, I think, is where the dragon shows up in the different zones. Lair of Lostmouth, Shores of Turin. Oh my gosh, Shores of Turin, Lair of Lostmouth. Two amazing pieces of dungeons and skirmish. Shores of Turin, Lair of Lostmouth. Armor reinforcement kits, artifact equipment, Dragonborn, Draconic, heroic encounters. Now, here's a case where I thought it was a good use of heroic encounters. They were showing up in certain zones. People would wait around, call out instances. I thought it was pretty good. It was a way to get around and get people together without overdoing it. I think that was actually not a bad implementation of heroic encounters. They went crazy with heroic encounters after that at the expense of dungeons and skirmishes. So everything through Mod 5, just so that we know, just to come back on this, remember this game had a lot of skirmishes, the base game also. And the skirmishes, generally speaking, are where you're moving through an environment from point A to point B to point C to point D to point E. You're moving through an environment. Skirmishes should be real skirmishes, just shorter dungeons, basically. Master of the Hunt, Shores of Turin. We need to move through an environment. It just feels better that way. So anyway, this is what I have. And again, just to come back, and the main point of this video, two things. I'm worried about this. A return to the game's original design and feel. I'm very concerned about that. Can you please clarify that? What do you mean by that? If we're going to get classic, here's a short list of what I have. Guys, let me know in the comments what you have, and I read all the comments, even if I don't reply to them all. Thank you guys. Have a great day.